Welcome to Chalk Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the topics that matter most to family owned businesses, entrepreneurs, and anyone navigating the complex world of business leadership. I'm Tiffani Carter. I'm here with Rory Sheppard, and we're excited to bring you insights, strategies, and discussions that reflect the very essence of what we do at Action Coach of West Texas. We're at another Chalk Talk today, Rory.
I'm excited. So what are we going to be talking about today, Tiffani?
We're going to talk about trust in an organization. You and I are both pretty big fans of Patrick Lencioni at the Table Group, right? He wrote the Five Dysfunctions of a Team. But saying that, right, I saw a LinkedIn post yesterday where someone said, your organization is more profitable when there is disagreement. Let me tell you, it was hot and cold on the responses. People either really understood what he was saying or they were adamantly disagreeing with what he had to say about disagreement. We started talking about yes people and no people and better way people, right? So let's talk about trust today.
So I did not see that post. I would have firmly been in the I agree completely camp, not the disagree camp. I think without conflict, you can't improve. And so, but with that said, I can't have conflict until I have trust. And so in that book, The Five Dysfunctions of the Team, Patrick Lencioni talks about vulnerability-based trust. You could also go find that same kind of conversation from Brené Brown from the University of Texas, I think. But I have to be vulnerable as a leader or as a team member, but it really starts with the leader. And if the leader can't be vulnerable, isn't vulnerable, then it's going to be very hard for the team to do the same. But until I am willing to be vulnerable, until I'm willing to say, this is something I'm not that great at, or this is something I'm not comfortable with, and I have a facade all the time, it's going to be very hard for trust to be built on my team. And then the rest of the pyramid from, those five dysfunctions, they're going to exist because I don't have trust. And that's where it starts. And so I think it's funny that, the thing that we don't want to be, which is vulnerable. I don't want to look like I have chinks in my armor. I don't want to look like I have holes in my game, is the one thing everybody already knows about me. They can see them, right? You can drive a truck through some of, my flaws. Yet if I act like I don't have them, then, the team doesn't trust. And so, and as soon as I say, this is something I'm not that good at, or this is something I'm not comfortable with, the tension in the room goes down and the team says, okay, you're being real with us. Right. And then once vulnerability is there, then the rest can start from there. And so I would go up to that next level and just talk briefly about, conflict. And so like what I said before, is for the team to grow, we've got to have conflict. But it can't be hateful or mean-spirited or kind of harsh language about people. I can't be saying bad things about you. That's not the conflict that I want. I want conflict and conversation around ideas or concepts or strategies or things that we need to do in the business. And let's argue about those things that we need to do and perfect them, or at least get them closer to right so that we can move forward in a positive way, right, as opposed to just getting consensus or compromise across the team going, it's not worth it for me to argue, so I'm just going to say yes, because then I don't have the best product. But if I don't trust that my point of view will be respected, or my ideas will at least be, debated and argued in a civil way, then conflict doesn't happen either. And so, but it goes back to trust.
Right. Agreed. And love what you said all the way back to the beginning about, right, I've got to be vulnerable. You and I had a conversation a week or two ago, right? Everybody's got rocks in their hand to throw at you. The first thing I need to do is take one of those rocks out. But while we're also doing that, right, we are building trust within our organizations and just saying, hey, like, I love what you said, right? You could drive a truck through it.
Yeah.
Right? We all see it. Let's just call it what it is and just say, we can't all be perfect at everything. We can't be great. We can't even be okay at everything.
That's right.
And being able to call that out on yourself is the first step to do that.
Yeah. And again, a facade or pretending, the only person that feels good may be yourself, but you probably really don't even feel good doing that yourself. And so I think your teammates will respect you when you just call out your own flaws, your own faults,
right,
in a vulnerable way. Now, there's going to be 1 in 100 or 2 in 100 maybe times that I share something about myself in a vulnerable way that gets me used. It may not even be that, right? It may be 1 in 1,000, right? I mean, when I take the rock out of your hand when I own my own flaws. And if I'm doing it not in a false humility way, but no kidding, I'm just saying this is something I'm not good at, then when you call that back out on me, I'm going to go, yeah, you're right. It's hard to hurt me when I go ahead and in a humble way say, this is something I've struggled with, or this is a problem that I've got. I don't do this well. I want to be part of the team so that when you're asking me to do that, I'm going to say, yeah, I mean, I can try, but that's not going to be my best game.
Absolutely. And a lot of times we don't do it because of fear that it's going to be used against us. And I love that you called out. Maybe it is 1 in 100. Maybe it's 1 in 1,000, but the percentage is so low. But we make a decision based on fear. And we would say fear stands for false expectations appearing real. We're assigning a false expectation to that. The percentage is so low, give it a try.
Right.
And by the way, if it is used against you, right, someone called themselves out. And those are few and far between. People are going to recognize that when it happens as well.
Yeah, we had a conversation this past weekend with a group of young professionals from a national advertising organization. Had great interaction with them. But one of the things that we shared with them was, yes, right? I mean, that could be used against you. That could be a conversation, right? But more often than not, the rest of the people in the room are going to be looking at that person and going, who are you? Or, well, I mean, what are you doing, as opposed to saying anything about you?
Right.
They're going to see it for what it is, which is somebody being harsh or mean-spirited,
right,
hateful, right? I mean, and so even if it does get used against you, it hurts them more than it does you.
Yes. So my recommendation is be vulnerable, right? Test it, go try it. Don't just say it doesn't work. Go try it. But I'll tell you, we want to hear from you. If you have a burning question or a topic you'd like us to explore, don't hesitate to reach out. Your insights and challenges are what drive this podcast. And we'll see you next time on Chalk Talk.